Hi guys, welcome back to Irony Completed. For my first Halloween tutorial, I am doing this infected zombie look. This is a super easy yet really effective look that can be worn with a variety of costumes. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and also my little pumpkin headband. I think it's so cute. So I'm skipping all the skin products. I want my skin to look really bad for this video, so no foundation, no concealer. In fact, we are going to use some eyeshadow to give us the illusion of really bad under eye circles. So I'm first taking a matte mauvish pinkish cool tone shadow, and I'm placing this all over my lid and up into the socket and above the crease, and also underneath my eye in a really big radius. This is going to give us some depth and a kind of bruised, tired look. I'm also taking a darker mauvey cool tone shade in a similar kind of colour family, and I'm also placing that on my eyes following the socket but not blending it quite far up as the other colour. And when I blend this under my eyes, I'm also going to blend it into the inner corners of my eyes just to create some hollowness and depth, make my eyes look sunken in and sick. I'm also going to take a matte grey shadow. This one's from the Naked 2 palette, but anyone will do, and it has to be very cool toned, and I am going to be placing this directly into the socket of my eye. If you don't know where that is, then just have a feel where the bone sticks out. You want to place it just underneath where your bone sticks out to create depth and hollowness. And then to create even more under eye bags, I'm taking a tiny bit of this matte purple from Illamasqua and placing it right in the inner corner of my eye, kind of feathering it outwards to create a bruised, tired look. I'm really focusing this on the inner corners and then a tiny bit on the outer corner of my eye, and those are the areas where you usually get the most darkness if you have under eye circles. And then to make my eyes look bloodshot, I'm using a red lip liner. You can use a red eyeliner if you have one. If you use a lip liner, make sure it's clean. This one's from Kiko, and it's kind of a pinkish raspberry toned red, and that will make your eyes look the most bloodshot if the red has a lot of pink in it, because pink eye, your veins in your eyes are quite pink. I don't know, I had a logic behind it. I'm just popping that in my waterline, to be honest. Makes me look quite sick, I think. Then I'm taking the same purple as before on a really fine brush, and having a really fine brush is the key to creating this kind of vein look. I am looking at the veins on my wrist and kind of following the pattern of those. Basically, you want to draw lots of really fine lines and lots of branching outy thingies from those fine lines. You want to make it really random. Doesn't need to have a very patterned, organized look to it. In fact, it looks better if it isn't very patterned. And you don't want to pick up a lot of product on your brush, because the idea is that these are under the skin and kind of popping forward. So I'm just putting them around my eyes, coming from underneath my eyes, and then a few coming from my eyelid upwards, but most of them focused underneath my eyes for the time being. And I left a lot of footage of this in because I feel like it's quite a complicated process to explain, and it's probably better if you guys just watch me do it and you kind of get the gist. Any of them that are too prominent and noticeable for my liking, I will pat them down with my finger just to kind of blend them into the skin. I think this look is really effective at making you look like you are kind of infected, contagious, like you have some kind of disease where your veins are like bursting out from under your skin. It's a very subtle way of making a really big impact, in my opinion. So I'm just continuing to create this kind of pattern. The key is as well is to have the least amount of product on your brush when you lift it up from your skin, so it looks like they're just tapering off underneath your skin as opposed to just ending abruptly. A lot of this is out of shot because I didn't realise it at the time, but I am also creating a few of those veins coming out from my mouth. Not quite as many because I didn't want the look to be too crowded, but I figured if I'm an infected zombie kind of thing, then I might have a few veins popping out from around my mouth, so I'm just kind of following the same pattern. And then I'm doing the exact same step in a olivey green tone, because your veins are blue, purple and green generally. I just didn't have a blue eyeshadow, so I chose to use a green. And I think that the mix of colours does really work, and I'm adding less of those in the purple just because it's a more subtle colour, but I think that using the two colours kind of definitely makes it look more realistic. And to make myself look extra sick, I'm also mixing together two kind of reddy tones and drawing a few veins with this. I'm being very sparse with this because I wanted it to be kind of subtle, but I think that adding that makes you look extra sick. I think it would also look really effective if you did all the veins in red as well, if you were feeling like that. Then I'm just going to press some pressed powder all over my face. This one does have a colour, but translucent will work just as well. And that's just to make everything look like it's under my skin, and also to take out any shine or healthiness from my face. I want my skin to look dry and dehydrated, like I've been sick for a very long time. I'm now contouring my cheeky bones. I'm very good at getting that shot of that, well done, with the same mauve shadows that I used on my face, and I'm kind of dragging it down to the structure of my skull, so kind of dragging it down towards my jawline and mouth, just to make me look extremely sunken in and sick. And I'm also carving out my temples. First I'm taking the lightest matte shade that I used, that mauve, and then I'm also kind of accentuating the very hollows of my cheeks and the very hollows of my temples with the second shade that we used, just to create some extra depth and dimension, because shadows aren't all one colour, obviously. And to carve out your temples, you just need to kind of make a circular shape around that area and then make sure it's really blended out. I took the powder brush that I used just to make sure that everything was extra blended and subtle, so that it didn't look like obvious contouring. Then I decided that my lips looked too healthy, so I kind of concealed them with concealer to make them look really dry and chapped and horrible. Then I took John Doe Lip Tar from OCC, which I've been waiting for an excuse to use for so very long. I'm kind of placing this more in the centre of my mouth to make my lips look small and cracked and dehydrated. This is a very, very grey toned lip tar, so it will make your lips look completely dead and devoid of colour. And then just in the middle of the lips, to make me look cold and ill again, I took that purple shadow down the very centre of my lips, just with my finger, and I think it's very effective at making your lips kind of look sick. Then I decided my skin was looking too healthy, so any existing acne spots or dark spots from acne scarring, I went over with the same red shadows that I used before, just to kind of accentuate them and make my skin look unhealthy, maybe make it look like I have some kind of like... I am just using fake blood from like a Halloween shop. I would recommend using eye safe blood, because you can see the exact moment that I realised that this is not safe to use around the eyes, and it caused me extreme physical pain, and some of the tear marks that you see later are caused by actual tears from irritation. Basically, I am creating kind of like bloody tears and then blood coming from my nose, smudging some of it out with my finger to make it look like I've kind of rubbed it, tried to rub it away. Basically, my idea was that, say if you got infected with something, you might bleed out of every orifice. I don't know, I was kind of thinking of 28 Days Later and stuff like that, and like the ricin, is that the thing that makes you bleed out of your eyes? I have no idea. I'm also putting some on my lips and then using my finger to kind of drag it down as if I tried to wipe it away again. You get the picture. That's pretty much it. This look is extremely basic, extremely simple, but yet really effective. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you'd like to, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the future. Happy Halloween!